Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 100th episode of the RedBeard Podcast in VR.
In VR.
VR.
So, guys, on this 100th episode, we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. We're going to start right off with New York Comic-Con stuff. Cooley and I went to New York Comic-Con, so a lot of stuff to chat about
NYCC,
there.
baby!
Yeah. Also, Cooley's back from a 2-week vacation where he went to Disney and Universal Studios.
Both them.
Yep. And a lot of trailers came out this past week, so we're going to talk about
So many trailers.
Black Panther, Thor Ragnarok. We're also going to talk about a movie that we watched called The Babysitter.
The Babysitter.
And stay with us because there might be some Halloween stuff in there.
Stay with us.
Ooh, boo.
RedBeard Podcast is brought to you by these cool dudes.
Guys, it's been like 2 weeks since we actually got together. We had to take a break because we went to New York Comic-Con, and then you decided that after New York Comic-Con, Cooley, you were just going to like keep going with your vacation and go to Disney and Universal, whatever, man.
Bro, I got off a train, got on a plane.
You
That's
literally
dope.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the only guys I know that literally got off the train and got to the airport and literally didn't. He walked right through security and walked right onto the jetway. That's how close he was to getting on his connection.
Yes.
So and like if that was me, I would have had like an anxiety attack on the train. Like I'm not going to make it. He's like,
Totally.
no, man, it's cool, man. I'm just going to walk right.
I'm
to
like
the
falling
place.
asleep on the train. I'm like,
Oh my God.
No care in the world, you know, whatever. But hey, you made it to Disney. You had a great time.
I did.
And obviously, I'm glad that Ren and Jim, you guys are here again, obviously with us to join us.
Hi, Ren.
After
Hi.
a 2-week hiatus. So this is awesome, guys. The month of October. Has anybody done any spooky stuff yet?
I did.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I went to the corn maze.
Hell yeah.
I did the corn maze. I bought a pumpkin.
I saw that. Yep.
I've eaten 2 candy apples so far.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I tried on my costume for Halloween. I was like, this is too much cleavage, and now I'm debating it.
are you gonna carve it?
My pumpkin or my costume?
The costume. Yeah, the pumpkin.
The pumpkin, totally. Obviously.
Hell
Totally.
yeah.
Word.
Jim, I know you have not done anything spooky.
No,
He's looked in the mirror.
I watched a porn that was a parody of The Purge.
What was it called?
The Purge. It was called This Ain't The Purge.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah, but anyways, let's just jump into New York Comic-Con, guys.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Cooley and I went
NYCC in VR.
VR. Yeah, you got the hot, the
I thought
sexy
we were doing a
hotline
thing.
voice.
I thought we were doing a thing.
So definitely, you know, New York Comic-Con, we only went for one day this year just because, you know, tickets are crazy. And you were going on your trip, so that only allowed us to go for one day.
Yeah.
But the one day that we were there was awesome. There was a ton of stuff going on. I mean, New York Comic-Con is its own monster in itself. It separates itself from, you know, cons like Rhode Island Comic-Con and smaller things like TerraCon. I think the one difference about New York Comic-Con that I've always noticed in the couple of years that I've gone is they focus a lot more on the artists and the merchandise than entertainment guests, which I think is originally what Comic-Con was about. And I know that
comic.
you really appreciate that, Cooley, because that is your jam. Comic books is like what you're into, man. Personally, for me, I like Rhode Island Comic Con because I'm into like seeing like the entertainment guests and kind of getting to meet people. But it's a different,
for me,
ball altogether.
Like, I mean, if I'm in my defense and just to kind of clarify with the audience, I mean, for me, I just feel like, you know, you call a duck a duck. You know what I mean? Like, Rhode Island Comic Con is an awesome convention. Like, I cannot take anything away from Rhode Island Comic Con. It's a fantastic convention. Not necessarily a Comic Con, though.
Right. It doesn't focus. Yeah,
Right?
like I'm saying.
It's not a Comic Con.
Well,
It's like, call it what it is.
It's like a meet and greet.
It's like a Hollywood con.
Yeah, media con. It's an entertainment con, whatever you want to call it. But to slap the name comic on it, it sets an expectation. And when you go and that expectation's not met, it's not disappointing per se, but it's like, hey, this isn't what I thought it was.
Well, let me say
kind
this,
of like Mother.
Oh, yeah, okay. But let me say this. I also feel like
I
there
bet you're
is a
the
little
first
bit
person
of
that said Comic-Con is like Mother.
there is a little bit of a stigma though when you compare. I think the reason why they call things Comic-Cons is because you're referring to the mother of all Comic-Cons, which is San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And San Diego Comic-Con has all these big entertainment guests come, which attracts the crowds. People like, they've had like Daniel Radcliffe show up. They've had like the entire Game of Thrones cast. Like Sigourney Weaver. Like they've had like Alien, people come all together as a cast and talk about that legacy and that franchise. So those big names draw the crowds because not everybody is into comic books, but San Diego Comic-Con has something for everybody. And I feel like New York Comic-Con is one of the bigger cons, so because of that, it attracts people. And I think Rhode Island Comic-Con is smaller compared to those, but it's becoming bigger and bigger. And this year,
We've
they've
got Paul
added
Bettany.
so many guests this year.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're slapping the Comic-Con name on it, because they're trying to get people as excited about something like San Diego and like New York. So
isn't that a little bit like kind of underhanded? I just think about it.
They want people to come, so they're calling it a Comic-Con and trying to jump on the train.
It's like,
I don't think they're trying
honey,
to rip
I
anybody
heard you
off.
like 7 inches.
I think it's
I
all
got
things-
7 inches.
Oh my god.
I'm awesome.
What a perfect parallel.
But she gets with you and you're just like, oh well, wait, that's 7.5 inches. That's a little too big. Sorry, hun, but
Wow.
I'm sorry I misled you. I walked you down the wrong path.
No words.
So I'm just saying.
Did you say no words or no worries?
What are we talking about?
no words.
No worries.
I thought you looked at me and went,
Question
no
mark?
worries. Got you.
Take that extra half inch.
Oh wait, it's not even. Oh wait, that's not even a penis.
Can you set that half inch aside for later?
Were we talking about comics or?
It's not a penis.
I'm
it's
sorry.
VR.
Vagina reality.
Anyway, back on track. So New York Comic-Con, we saw a lot of cool stuff. I think one of my favorite things about New York Comic-Con is they have some killer cosplay. A lot of people did really great jobs, and then a lot of people did really bad jobs. But it is what it is. You go there to have fun. You go there to show the character you're passionate about, and I can respect that. I definitely was a big fan of the guy who dressed up in full Bumblebee, to the 10th degree. This dude was 14 feet tall, walking around in a full Bumblebee thing. He's got.
Does he transform into a car?
Nope, not yet.
and then go 0 to 60?
Nope, he just kind of walked around and he talked in his normal voice, which I thought was a little weird. If you're going to go to that degree, have some kind of a voice
box.
changer.
Go to
my other
Child World.
My other favorite thing was I met somebody dressed up as probably the best Predator I've ever seen in person.
Oh, yeah?
And that was cool.
How many overweight Harley Quinns
I think my
did you
favorite part
see?
was...
No.
So we walk outside to the food truck area where you can get food, and I see this guy.
Where all the
this guy in
Harley
a Predator.
Quinns were.
And what did you say? You go. How did you even see him?
Yeah, no, this dude is he's got to be at least 200 yards away. And we walk out the door, and we walk out of the door opens, we step out onto the concourse, and Tony's making a beeline for this dude, and I'm just like, where are you going? What do you see? I don't. And as we get closer, I'm like, oh, there's the Predator. But I'm maybe 50 yards away by the time I realize where we're going. I'm like, how the hell did you see that?
But did you know how when we were there, you notice how I'm always see that stuff?
Yes.
It sticks out. I don't know, man. It was. So,
I've known Tony for years. When it comes to the Predator, it's pretty.
So I don't know,
it's
man.
Where's Waldo for him?
Yeah, and but we did have a great time. We met up with Hector Rodriguez from and his boy
from
John.
Guildworks.
Yep, from Guildworks Publications. They've been on the podcast before.
GWP.
Didn't even expect to see them there. And I happened to walk by their booth, and I was like, "Oh, what up, man?" And like he was doing his thing, so we got to hang out with them for a while.
Yeah, got dinner with them and stuff like that. That was
Nice.
cool.
In
VR.
So it was overall, it was a good trip. It was a quick trip. I mean, Cooley, anything that you want to... I mean, I saw a ton of stuff. I'm having trouble just narrowing down exactly things that stuck out to me. What did you want to point out specifically? Anything?
No, like, I mean, like the highlight for me, I mean, like there was a highlight because it was a parallel that I drew to one of my first conventions, which was when I met Kirkman. I've told the story several times. I'm not going to do it again. But it was similar, but not... Because this guy didn't like chase me down. It's just like the work that he's doing just reminded me of the work that Kirkman was doing at the time. And his name is Z.M. Thomas, or am I right about that? Yeah, Z.M. Thomas.
Yeah.
The book that caught my eye, that pulled me out of the crowd, is called The Bible 2.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Tony was telling me about
Yeah,
that.
it's like a
I
sequel to
love
the
the
Bible.
original Bible so much that I never read it.
Like it's a sequel to the Bible. I can't really do it justice. I'm gonna read the description from his website. Basically, the book is called The Bible 2, and the blurb is: Jesus Christ is back, and he's not crucifucking around. In the official sequel to the 2,000 years in the making, it's time to put the sin back in synagogue. And it's written by Z.M. Thomas with art from New York Times #1 best-selling artist Amelia Wu, who is absolutely fantastic. This features a gun-toting, laser beam blasting, rocket sandal wearing Jesus Christ.
That's excellent.
Riding a unicorn.
A pink winged unicorn.
I would say
and
though,
just-
if Jesus did exist, I feel like in today's day and age, that's what he would have to come back as to get our attention.
Yeah, there is a cover for an alternate cover, or just a cover for one of the books in the series where Jesus is teamed up with the Pastafarian.
Explain.
Oh my God.
How about if I just show you?
You need a picture.
I will tell you one thing. One of the reasons why I bought the comic, I'm just like flipping through it, and the artwork alone is fantastic.
Is excellent.
I really am a big fan of the artwork.
What is going on? Is that Napoleon Bonaparte?
This is he's fighting the revolutionaries or the redcoats.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool, and one of my favorite
As
pages,
he waves the original colony flag, the 13 colonies.
What's
yeah.
your favorite page, Tony?
With
Yeah.
Jesus
with
is
That's all right,
American.
I'm gonna wait.
with the Pastafarian.
So wait, so is the Pastafarian is
It's
that
the-
just
it's
like
the-
a
the
is that like a
tentacle dude.
monster with a
It's a
with
deity. It's a
meatball?
religious deity. He's spaghetti with meatballs.
Yes.
Is that a real deity?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
So-
crazy people deity.
The reason why I actually bought this comic was because there's a page in it where Jesus is kicking somebody right in the face, and he just says, I know jujitsu, but it's Jew, like Jew, jujitsu. And I was like, just that alone was like, I gotta get this because this is hilarious.
Terrible.
Like this guy gives zero fucks. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? About like making fun of Jesus and like just like having fun with it. You know,
He's got another book called The Book of Mormon 2.
yeah.
Joseph Smith in Space.
Whoa, hey.
Now,
I'm gonna
also
check this
talk
guy
about
out.
the
He's speaking
Ready
my
Player
language.
One connection, possibly.
Yeah.
Yo, check
What?
about this.
Whoa.
A Ready Player One connection we found out with this guy. So
I'm talking to him, and he told me, like, he didn't tell me. I'm inferring this. I don't know if it's accurate because there's no confirmation from this gentleman.
and he
because
couldn't really tell
can't.
us too much. He can't
Is
tell us
Jesus
too much.
So-
in Ready Player One?
No, but he is working on a possible video game character license, being able to write for that character at Trepidation Comics, which is his comic book studio. And he basically was just like, it's in the Ready Player One trailer. I can't talk about it. But it's a character that's going to be in Ready Player One, and I'm going to be able to do this, and I get to write, and I'm going to write the script for the movie. for this character because he's going to have his own movie as well.
And he was saying that it's in the scene with Freddy Krueger. And so we watched the trailer again. And the only thing that we could put together was it might be a movie based on Duke Nukem.
Right.
Because the only other people in that would be Katana.
Freddy and Katana.
And then there's the guy jumping up and like shooting at Freddy. And I think that was Iron Giant, was it? Or who's
the guy that's jumping is...
Who is that?
I don't know his name. He's one of the main characters. I was under the assumption.
Yeah, but regardless, like
H, isn't it H?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we were under the impression that if anything, it would be Duke Nukem. So we'll see what happens. He couldn't tell us too much, but that was one of the cool interactions at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, and the reason why it reminded me of Kirkman is because of like the book that Kirkman was pushing on me was Battle Pope.
Yeah.
So like this just kind of fits in that same mold as like Battle Poop. He also has a book called Sioux Falls, which is about about the Lakota Sioux, but it's all like steampunk oriented, which is really cool. Like, and the artwork is by Amelia Wu as well. So the artwork is amazing. His writing, like I've read both books already, and the writing is like on fucking point.
Man,
like,
nothing is more fun than just mangling our history.
I mean,
it's awesome.
But he has fun with it, and that's what I like about the book so far. The other thing too
the
is
Bible is history.
We talked to him enough, and we hit it off enough that he did agree at some point to do an interview with us on the podcast. So we'll be able to actually get him on soon, so you guys can hear more about it.
Yeah, sometime in November we narrowed it down because like he's got a couple of things going on. He's going to be super busy for the rest of this month and the beginning of next month. So mid-November, end of November, we'll probably get something going.
Nice.
Hell yeah. So
congrats to him.
Definitely.
But
Coolly.
the cosplay, I thought the cosplay was on point. There was a lot of cosplay.
Were there any pigeons that were dressed up as comic book characters?
There was a Edward Scissorhands.
Female
pigeon?
Edward Scissorhands.
No, but it was a woman dressed as Edward Scissorhands, and she was freaking awesome. And I took a picture with her. I had her like pretend she was like giving my beard a trim. Mm-hmm. So that was cool.
If you guys want to see the cosplay,
was her boob nipples thumbtacks?
No, but they were amazing.
If you guys want to see the costumes, just go on our Instagram, RedBeard Podcast, and you can see all of the cosplay that we took pictures of. Also on our website or just our Facebook, RedBeard Podcast, you can also see some of the interviews that we did with people like a guy dressed as the Hound, somebody dressed as Waldo.
You still haven't told me if that guy's face was actually scarred.
No, that was makeup.
It was? Lame.
So, but guys, go on our Facebook, go on Instagram, check that stuff out, comment. We'd love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah. There was that woman too. Remember that woman that was like, she was like, so there's this woman that was like actually like dressed like super scantily clad, huge things on her chest. Yeah. And
legs?
Call them that.
Did they bend?
Lots of.
She didn't even know who she was, though.
Yo, Cleveland is a state that comes to mind. I mean, a city. Sorry.
She had huge boobs. Let's just say
Cleveland is a city that comes to mind. So
she wasn't trying to be anybody. She was just like, I'm hot, so I'm going to show that off.
Yeah, but here's the funny part. Like she's walking by, and
disturbing.
I'm like, she's walking by, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get a picture of this, right? Because I want to put this on our thing. Because
of course. Yeah. No, sex sells.
Totally. So I'm like, excuse me. She's like walking. She just walks right by. I'm like, excuse me, can I? And it was like trying to get a cab. And 2 seconds later, this little girl comes up to me, probably around 12, looks up at me with these big doe eyes and just says, "Did you want to take a picture of my mommy too?"
Oh my God.
And I felt so dirty when I said, "Yes, please." And she said, "Mommy, this man wants to take a picture of you."
You would have felt, it would have been dirtier though if you were like, "No, I want to take a picture with your daughter."
Thank you for making me feel better.
Like
no,
there's
always a lower bar.
That's what we encountered, and that's what we saw this year at New York Comic Con. So, as I said earlier, Cooley checked out Disney right after New York Comic Con and Universal Studios. and he had a good time there. It was in VR.
VR. Did you meet any of the princesses?
No.
Give my love to the princesses.
You'll see.
Yes, dude. I was gonna do it if somebody else didn't. All right. So anyway, Cooley, talk about what you saw at Universal and at Disney, bro.
Yo, so I'll start with Disney, because
Did you see a child hanging in It's a Small World?
no.
What? It's a creepypasta.
The
Oh my god.
so at Disney, right? It's a very, very amazing experience every time I go. It is truly a world of magic, dude. There's a meal plan, and when you get the meal plan, like you get one like sit down meal, like a fine dining meal, and you get like two quick service meals per day, and like 2 snacks, right? So basically just stuffing you with food all day. And because you paid for the meal, you feel obligated to partake
totally.
in the fucking meal. So I'm walking around Disney, and it's just like every day I'm just like eating the food that I should not be eating. Like there's like, I mean, they have like Mickey waffles and friggin' like chocolate chip
Waffles
pancakes and
shaped like
pancakes
Mickey?
and these like, bacon cinnamon sticky buns
That sounds great.
dude, all of it is 5-star chef prepared, amazing food. And it's not like you're forcing yourself to eat this stuff. You want to eat it, but
Yeah, but then you're walking like 15 miles a day. You know what I'm saying?
and you would think that you feel like, you're maintaining, but you're not. No, like I came home, I must have gained 15 pounds.
See, I'm just saying, man, I told you the
That's
other
what
day, I was like,
vacations are for.
yeah, but I saw you at work and I was like, bro, you look like you lost weight. Like because you said, and dude, every day I'm getting your activity. It's like
15 miles.
Yeah, but it's like 2:00 and it's like 1,000 calories. And I'm like, I just got up. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
you're
getting
working.
your calories. You're killing it, bro.
But yeah, it's definitely just be conscious of that. Like when you get your meal plan, maybe try to get like a because we sprung for that one. Like you can get one that's less. So that's one thing. But on to the fun stuff. Star Wars, ever present at Disney. It's kind of the same all the time, but this year it was a little bit different just because you had all Force Awakens and forward stuff going on, because before it was like you had the 501st Legion stormtroopers all dressed up to the friggin' gills, like with all their like homemade gear that they made themselves. This time around it wasn't really the whole 501st Legion, but I think they were all like kind of still making their armor. Right, so like you had some of them, but you had like a Phasma that looked amazing. You had the First Order stormtroopers, Magma troopers, all those guys like all just kind of like trooping around all day. Death troopers like from Rogue One. It was really cool. You had some shore troopers walking around. Boba Fett, of course, is always there.
Best character in Star Wars.
Best character in Star Wars, hands down.
And with the exception of the Sarlacc.
But and there was actually a mock-up, a scale model of like what Galaxy's Edge is going to look like.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool.
And so I got to see that, and that looked really cool. Really just looks like came right out of like Star Wars, like right off of Tatooine, like Mos Eisley area, whatever. Really cool stuff. But not too much by way of like new rides or new anything else going on. So,
But they're waiting for the new rides for the park, man, when that opens. That's where they're putting all that money.
Do they have any intentions of making a new park?
Yeah, it's a Star Wars theme park.
Yeah, that Galaxy's Edge that I just mentioned is
Yeah.
the Star Wars land.
It's going to be opening in 2019, and it's
Correct.
going to have like an entire hotel that was just Star Wars themed.
Oh,
Because
nice.
Disney owns
And I'm
Star
gonna
Wars
assume
now,
it's gonna
obviously.
be
So
there's going to be like the Tatooine section.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
Well,
going to be like Endor.
Right.
They're supposed to have like a Death Star that you can walk around in and stuff too, from what I heard.
Yeah, well, what it's going to be is like you go,
The icy terrain of Hoth.
you stay at the hotel. The stay is for 3 days, and what they do is they have a story that's crafted just for you.
Oh, that's cool, man.
And you have they actually provide you with like your clothes for the 3 days that you're there.
That's so cool.
And so you're dressed in like Star Wars gear the whole time. When you leave the hotel, you go directly to Galaxy's Edge. When you leave Galaxy's Edge, you go directly back to the hotel. So you are living in Star Wars. It's an experience.
Well, this is what we're going to have to do for a vacation one day with the dames.
Yeah, man, that'll be fun.
And so like
Hell
your whole time is planned out. You have a mission. You have a job that you have to do. Like a Star Wars themed job.
I want to be a plumber.
No.
It's like fully immersive. So like I'm like looking
Ren's
forward
like,
to it.
I don't want to go to vacation to work.
Yeah, like.
Well, no, it's not going to be like that. I mean, no, it's not. It's going to be
it's
like
already work if you have someone who's getting paid to be cheesy come over and be like, "Oh, you're doing your little job," and I'm like, "No, get out of my face."
Hi, my name's Ren.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
a radar
you can
technician.
totally. But that's the thing is like you can totally do that. But it just that basically will
I bet you that's
will
100%
contribute to what
job
your
that
story
you
is like as you go.
Can I have it taken off my vacation? Like, hey, the hotel costs this much, but if you work your fake job, then I'll do it. But I'm like,
no.
nah.
Because you're not doing any. You're not really doing anything
Yeah, it's
productive.
not really. It's fun.
Okay.
You're not doing anything productive.
It's
Like,
like
your
kinda
mission
fun.
might be to drop
Yeah.
drop something off for somebody like
You're
a
gonna see
like a
Jawas.
scavenger hunt or like something like that.
I don't know.
But it's all going to be Star Wars based. And
What if your job was to be a pod racer?
No, that's too much work. I don't have money for insurance like that.
so Star Wars, same like I said, it's amazing. Like that Galaxy's Edge is going to be fantastic. But all I can hope is that it's as cool as the Avatar Flights of Passage ride.
What is
I still haven't gone on that.
This thing is all right. You guys watch Star Trek at all? Ever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You ever
I
see
know
when
what
they
that's about.
you ever see when they go into the holodeck?
Yes.
Okay.
Star Wars.
It's a holodeck?
Avatar Flights of Passage is the closest you will come right now in this day and age to going into a holodeck in the Star Trek universe.
Technology, dude. It's
Like
ridiculous.
it
With
is
Disney
literally
and Mitsubishi.
It is literally a 5x7 room that you walk into. That's like all. It looks like it's got support beams everywhere, and like there's no way that you could project anything onto any walls. You walk into this room. They have these rows of bikes. You sit on the bike. You put on these 3D glass. They're plastic 3D glasses. There's no technology. There's no wires. There's no lights. Nothing. You just put them
Right.
on so that you can actually like they're 3D or whatever. But they wrap a little bit around the sides of your face so your peripherals actually get the 3D effect as well.
That's pretty cool.
So you sit on this thing and then it does this like little countdown. It flashes in your face and makes you like kind of draws you into like, you know, the screen on the thing. The whole room goes dark. All of a sudden you're in fucking Pandora.
That's really cool.
The
Like-
app?
No, yeah, there's tons of music. There's ads everywhere.
ads.
Somebody keeps coming up to you and asking you for $10. But no, it's actually no Pandora, the world from Avatar, right? But it's so real. Like they simulate wind. They
That's
simulate
insane,
they
man.
simulate smells. Like it smells like you're in like a forest.
Can you like look at your hand and it's blue?
No, you can actually see yourself and everybody next to you, but everything that
Everything
was
else
once
is-
support beams and like weird like textured shit is
now,
now
like,
just is
floating
now
islands?
a complete world. Yeah, it's just the complete world. It just like completely phases you into this world. You're on the back of this Banshee, the flying like dragon things.
Sure.
And
Where they
because-
connect their dreadlocks to the.
Sure. But the cool thing is like the thing that you're on, that bike that I was telling you about,
Uh huh.
it like when it sucks you into the world, the bike starts breathing.
There's like an airbag.
Like
Oh,
and
cool, huh?
it's like soft leather and like that leather just expands and contracts.
So it completely simulates
So
the
you
fact that
feel-
you're on like a dragon.
Yeah, you feel like you're on the back of this thing, and then all of a sudden you see that you're on the back of it, and then you just take off and you just start flying around the world. And the only thing that takes you out of it just a little bit is that you don't really control it. Like you can't go left, you can't go right when you want to. You're just on it for the ride. So when they nail that, when they actually get it to the point where you can actually control the thing that you're on, forget it. Like
It sucks we live
I
in
would
Rhode
never
Island.
want to leave the thing. But it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Mind blown. If you get a chance, go get on that ride. It was 3 hours to wait to get on it for a 5-minute ride, but that 5-minute ride was worth it. It was worth all the time that I wasted. I actually streamed shows on my phone while I was waiting in line. So I got to catch up on shows while I waited to get on one of the best rides ever. So that was Avatar. And I mean, everything else was kind of standard fare at Disney. So I want to jump right into Universal. Because when we went for the Universal Hollywood Horror Nights.
And Universal is the adult Disney.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So we did
I've
that.
been to Universal. Love it.
Me too.
Dude, Hollywood Horror Nights is like the fantasy Halloween party for me.
Bless you.
Like I've always wanted to go to like a Halloween party where everything was just over the top.
Is like everybody there? Like everyone that Universal owns, are they walking around? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's mostly yes, but it's mostly cosplayers. So people do cosplay. They dress up in
cool.
costume and
Excellent.
stuff like that. But the coolest thing
Purge.
about it was just everything. Like The Purge, The Shining. You had Trick or Treat. You remember that movie Trick or Treat?
I
never
love
seen
that.
it.
Oh my gosh,
Movie's
Sam.
amazing.
I've heard great-
Sam is
I've heard
Sam is
great
one of my
things.
favorite ones.
Yes.
I will take a look at it.
I will give you guys, just not to cut you off, but if you want to see a taste of what he actually saw when he was there, we posted a video on YouTube, RedBeardPodcast.com, and there's also a shorter clip of that bigger video on the Instagram.
Well,
so
I'm
make
sure he's
you check
going
it
to
out.
show me some videos after this is
Yeah,
over.
for sure. Well, that was more for the audience, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Purge, there was a thing called Festival of the Deadliest, which, Festival of the Deadliest for me was like, I was like, I've died and gone to heaven, but it was literally a representation of hell. I think that's where I want to be. I don't know. It was like, I'm walking around and you have these like super tall, like amazing looking like women, like with like these giant like ram horns on their head. And they're like, walking around on stilts and they're like looking all creepy and sexy. And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And like, I turn around from them and there's this like freaking demon stripper on a stage, like just like dancing and like
That sounds
wiggling
like a
her
good
booty
time.
and like they're playing Metallica Orion in the
Yeah,
background, dude.
It's, you can hear it. Yeah.
It's Orion, like
It's an instrumental off of
And
their Master of Puppets
yeah, it's like
album.
11 minutes long. And I'm like walking around and I'm just like filming everybody. This dude comes up to me with like this skull mask and it's like a really cool skull mask. He just gets all up in like the lens of the camera, like all super close. So it was like really cool visual effect. But there's like 5 or 6 platforms with like these like exotic dancers just kind of like, dancing on stage. And then you had like these like demon lords like standing on these floats, which was kind of weird because like why would a demon lord stand on a float? But whatever. I guess they have to have parades too.
Suspension of disbelief.
They have to have parades.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, come to hell. But it was just so freaking cool. And like the whole street is lit up in like this like reddish, like purplish light. So you literally feel like you've stepped into another dimension.
Festival of the Deadliest. I'm going to watch some of your videos and then I'm going to go online tonight and look up like YouTube stuff.
Yeah, do it. Do it. The other thing that we mentioned already was The Purge. There was actually like a section, like a block of an area, like just set up like you're in the middle of The Purge. And like you got these people running around with like chainsaws and like
There was like a woman on top of a bus, and she's like, "Jake, thank you for joining the annual purge."
yeah, and she's like kicking everything off.
Yeah,
She's
it's
auctioning
creepy.
people off.
Yeah, that
like
was
they're
weird.
pulling, like they literally pulled like random people out of the crowd and dragged them up to the bus, the top of the bus, and they like auctioned them off to be murdered.
Oh, that's awesome. Did they
Yeah.
survive?
I don't know.
The fact that you didn't instantly say yes,
Yeah.
that's fine with me.
Yeah, no, but it was so cool because like you had these people walking around like they're just like like swinging the chainsaws around. People walking up to people like getting in their face like with knives and shit like that. It was just, dude, it was awesome. And I went through the house, the Shining house.
Oh, that's cool, man.
it
Yeah, because
was-
you had like a video clip of the twins,
Yeah,
like from The Shining. Yeah.
and it was that was cool because like it starts off as soon as you enter the building, like it starts off like you're in the maze, right? And so like you navigate the maze. It's all snowy and stuff like that, which is all like reproduced with like suds or whatever. So then you get inside, and now you're in the hotel. And you're walking through the hotel, and like it's like all these little like creepy things are happening. You see the girls at the end of the hallway; they disappear, like the lights flicker and they're gone already. It's like so well done that it's like you really feel like you're in the movie. And then all of a sudden, this like dude that's like dressed up as Jack Nicholson or whatever is like, you know, smashing through walls and like, here's Johnny.
I expect nothing less.
Dude, it's great. And then like once you're done, you exit out through the maze, and you see that same dude that was dressed up as Nicholson popping in and out of the maze, like, you know, and then all of a sudden as you're leaving, he's laying out on the ground dead.
In the snow?
Yeah,
Oh,
I was just about to say, are you going to see him frozen in the snow?
Yeah, and that's like the last thing you see as you leave. And it's
this sounds
so
so
awesome,
cool,
man.
and I could never go to this.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, we'd make it through just so you can experience that, dude.
There was an Ash versus Evil Dead. I don't know about any of you, but I am a huge fan of Ash.
I watched
and
the first
Evil
season.
Dead series.
I haven't gotten to the second season yet.
It's hilarious.
Of course.
And it's also very well done as far as like, you know, a creepy horror show. Sam Raimi is amazing. His stuff is fantastic. They did Saw, same kind of deal. And American Horror Story. And, you know, that was really like, you know, the biggest, most fun thing about it was like going through these houses and actually seeing how they recreated everything.
So this sounds gigantic.
Yeah, and this was number 27. So they do this every year. It's been 27 years running.
And I'm sure every year it gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah, man. So a lot of cool stuff happening at Disney and Universal. So make sure to check it out and check out the videos we talked about on Instagram.
Now let's
and
just
YouTube.
take a second to hear a little bit about our sponsor. Supply and demand investing. Guys, not all investments are created equal. Did you know growth stocks devote most of their revenue in trying to expand or grow the company and offer investors little to no dividend payout?
Sounds like fucking bullshit.
Right? But value stocks split their revenue between trying to expand or grow the company and give their buyers dividend payouts.
That sounds better.
But the question is, which of these two means of investing do you think has performed better over the past 10 years? Well, to find out, go to supplyanddemandinvesting.com/redbeard. That's us, guys. Go to supplyanddemandinvesting.com/redbeard. Supply and demand investing helps compare investments in the hopes of delivering better than average results, whether they be long-term, short-term, or just something in the middle. And remember, like any good sports team,
Like the New York Football Giants.
yeah. When it comes to investing, there are times to play offense by investing in things like the S&P 500, and times to play defense by investing in things like bonds, CDs, or cash. So I say, go Patriots!
Yeah, but if we're talking defense, it's the New York Football Giants all day.
Yeah, but it's the Pats, because they won last year.
My babysitter is trying to kill me.
Are the attackers in the house?
They're downstairs having a blast.
Alrighty, babes, let's head upstairs and get the blood of the innocent.
This would go viral. I mean, nobody's done human sacrifice.
People have always done human sacrifice.
Yeah, but like, not in America with hot people.
One of the most interesting movies that I've seen recently today was a movie on Netflix called The Babysitter. And I am actually just going to let Ren take it from here because, Ren, you were the first out of the group of four to actually say that you had already finished watching it.
Yeah.
So, and that convinced us to watch it. So, yeah, go for it. What did you think?
So I've seen it on Netflix for a couple of days. It looked like trash. It was Bella Thorne, who is like notorious for being, I don't know if she was Nickelodeon or Disney, but just like one of those washed up weirdo actresses who post like weird Instagram photos and post like very problematic things. So I was like, oh, I'm not interested. This looks stupid. It's got the drippy font. Mm-hmm. Not interested.
Which one was Bella Thorne, by the way?
She was a cheerleader.
All right.
Yeah.
So you watch it, you watch the trailer, and you're like, this is actually humorous. I think I might want to watch it. You have the cute kid, hot babysitter dynamic. I was into it. I was like, cool. Then you have all the comedic friends. You have the meathead jock who's like attractive.
Mm-hmm. Robbie and Mel.
Yeah, but like a raging psychopath.
Yeah.
You have the token black friend who's there, of course, for comedy. That's how they utilize him. Bella Thorne's like the hot slutty girl.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the weird Asian girl in the mix. That was super strange. Like the art chick, I guess, is what Sonya would be.
Yeah, she was just kind of like, yeah, exactly, because
Yeah.
she had all the like Asian-esque makeup on too, which was weird. Like,
I thought you were gonna go. She had all the Asian features.
Yeah.
yeah, but it wasn't just that. It was like she had like geisha makeup on. You
Yeah.
know, I'm like, all right.
So I was like, this is a weird
Sure.
ragtag bunch of people. The parents leaving town, they were like, they're probably having sex. Like, they really vamped that up. So they were playing really hard on the comedy. I was like, okay, I'm into it. It's not so horror based, because when you go so horror based, you have to pull it off a certain way. And I was like, I'm into it. Let's keep going. And it was so goofy, and every time something happened, you're like, no, and it would be like cringeworthy, but they'd make it immediately funny.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm into it. Like, they kill off the black dude immediately, which I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're going with it.
This movie's gonna get serious now.
Yeah, they blew up the Asian girl. Oh man, the first few people who died are all.
I didn't notice that until you said that. Right
Yeah,
now.
I just did. I just noticed that.
Yeah.
And then-
I never noticed that because
Yeah,
I don't see color.
Stupid.
So dumb. So this poor kid, they just like needed his blood, and because he couldn't stay in bed because he's an idiot,
Yeah.
he was like, I'm gonna let them know that I've seen them kill people. And
Yeah, but then again, they would have gone up into his room anyway to get that like innocent like person blood, you know, that they needed. So even if he didn't wake up, I think they would have went to get it.
yeah, they got his blood, but all he had to do was like stay in bed and not have opened his window, because the babysitter noticed the window, and she's like, I'm gonna check on him again in 5 seconds. And she was like, you were awake for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna kill you.
Oh my god.
So like this whole thing could have been avoided if he was just knocked out, if he was like cool, if he was like a little fat kid, because he was a skinny healthy kid. He was like, I can stay up right now. I would have been asleep for the whole thing. I would have even felt it in my little pudgy arm. So you're down to like the jock. Not to mention Bella Thorne gets shot in the tit for no reason. No reason. They really play that
great.
up for like 15 minutes. It's
Yeah,
like,
and then the token black guy goes, "Oh, titty gone."
yeah.
I was like,
Sometimes
"What the hell?"
boobs
And
have it coming.
He says, he says, sometimes you just gotta settle. I got a cousin, has a flat boob. Great personality though.
But they like really went with that tit joke for like 15 minutes. I was like, all right. Well,
Yeah,
You know?
she was like, "Oh," she's like, "No one's gonna suck on my nipple. My life is over." I was like, "What?"
She said, I've got his blood all over me. And it was like a little drop on her
Oh
on her
yeah,
jacket.
yeah, definitely. So
they play up that a lot. You're down to the psychopath. He's chasing the kid. He's like, I'm ready to kill you, until his bully stops in. And then he's like, why don't you go mess up that bully's day, and then I'll
yeah,
kill
he
you.
became like his mentor.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that was. It
Yeah.
was kind of
Yeah,
like
and he gave him a kiss on the
right?
forehead.
Yeah,
that
it was
a little
weird. It was
Yeah.
strange. That guy dies. You're down to who? You're down to the cheerleader and the main girl whose name what was it?
B.
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 So you're down to B.
Yeah.
Cheerleader. She dies. Whatever. She was bleeding out anyways, all over the place.
Oh yeah, her head exploded.
I loved during her scene where they switched to like Leslie Bibb and Ken Marino, and she's like, "Did you put the butcher knife in the dishwasher?"
Yeah, she's
That's
like
not
giving,
where. Yeah, she's
but
like
she's giving him a hand job in the Hyatt hotel room.
And he's just like,
Yeah.
And she's like, "That's not where it goes. It goes in the butcher block." And she's like, still stroking him off.
It's so weird.
relationships, right?
And then they add in that the little boy has a girlfriend next door for no reason, and they team up, and I'm like, maybe y'all should just stay at her house and lock the door.
Yeah, I like how he got into the house, but like
Yeah.
just was like, "It's fine if I just shut the door."
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Your door's automatically locked, right?"
yeah, where, like, what universe do you live in where that happens?
Yeah, no, right?
Like, does she live in a penitentiary?
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Well,
as
I
a
guess
feature
if, I guess
on,
if
a,
you,
on a door.
if you switch the little like thing on the back of the round handle and it shuts it automatically,
Yeah,
locks,
but
but
he-
not the
she has to win-
the bolt. You know.
Well, I think we all realized that this movie wasn't like a thinking.
Yeah, but
man's
I think
movie.
they
this
play
movie
it
wasn't
up.
Mother.
No,
So I will say this though, that
it wasn't pretentious.
like I watched the trailer and honestly I would have not have watched this movie unless
Me neither.
unless we all had agreed to watch it. But
Had
I
no
will admit
intention
that
of watching it.
that going into this movie, I didn't expect much. My wife Becca watched it with me. She actually enjoyed it. What I really liked about it is it did kind of have just like, it was just a fun movie The deaths were really well done,
Yeah,
which
totally.
I didn't expect them to be as gruesome as they were. I also really liked how like when the dude gets stabbed in the head with the 2 knives, it shows the kid's face and it goes text, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
on the screen. Like, and then they have that text like in 80s movies, like,
pull the
hell
pocket
yeah,
knife.
when he gets like the rocket, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's kind of cool. Like
Yeah, pocket knife, bitches.
Yeah.
yeah, just like all these kind of like, they were like 80-esque effects that
It
they
was
threw
like
on the screen.
Stranger Things font too.
Yeah, exactly. And I just really enjoyed those little weird things. But it's just like such an odd movie that I just like scrolling through like Netflix. I don't think I ever would have found this movie. Like, you've seen it.
They
I had never seen
advertised it
Yeah, it was
heavily, but
pretty
the
heavily
cover
advertised.
photo is bad. The cover photo is terrible. It's just the cheerleader blowing bubblegum, and then it's like the really crappy like free font.
Yeah.
The drippy font. And I was like, I'm not interested. This is going to be terrible. You can't even tell if it's like maybe a 90s movie.
As soon as I started it, though, I knew I was gonna love the whole thing. Like when Carl McDowell was like basically the school nurse.
Yeah.
Was like,
Oh,
why you giving me shit?
Oh,
It's just take the needle, man.
I like how
I
all
already did
the
20 kids.
all
I got
the
80
deaths.
more. You're like taking 10 minutes. Why you giving me shit?
this kid is trying to save himself against these like this cult of murderers, and all of these deaths are accidental until the very end, where he decides to drive a car into this girl.
Up
That
a
was
ramp.
the dopest scene.
12-year-old kid just flat out murdering. I love it.
That
See?
scene was amazing.
See, you think that? I thought it was super dumb. Like, I thought everything up until that I was into, but then like he gets in a car and drives it into his own house.
I thought it was,
was
pretty
like,
dumb too,
what?
because like they had mentioned earlier about his father trying to teach him how to drive. So I was like, this is gonna come into play later on because this is too obscure.
And the whole thing about how he was setting up his race car
Yeah.
to be able to do the barrel roll.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what ended up happening.
And then
in the end.
his little girlfriend's dad has this really like douchey car.
Yeah, see, I didn't even
Drops
pick up
the
on that.
keys.
I didn't even pick up
Which
on the
they
whole,
really
like,
played
barrel
up a
roll
lot
thing.
that like these two 12-year-olds are gonna have sex.
Did you just put your lips on his face?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, she's like, oh, well, maybe you should come back and we can make out next time. I'm like, all right, cool. But it was just like, it was a very,
I don't need a babysitter anymore. That was,
Yeah.
that was like a
Yeah.
cool thing. I just loved I loved how it was like License to Drive meets like, I don't know, sleepaway camp.
It was
Friday
fun.
the 13th.
I thought
Yeah.
it was ridiculous.
Oh, and I loved how like it was breaking the fourth wall of like in a horror movie where he's like going around this treehouse going shh shh ga, ga, ga. Like,
Yeah.
actually making the Friday the 13th
Yeah.
noise. I thought that was great.
It's what I'd do if I was a murderer.
But I really liked it. I enjoyed the film. Thought it was great. Definitely check it out. It's on Netflix if you just want to watch a fun October, horror movie. So,
Not the smartest movie, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no,
Very
like,
entertaining.
I don't think it was trying to be. I
a
just
lot
I-
of
yeah.
loose ends.
Yeah,
And-
I think
and,
it was literally just trying to be a fun romp through that kid's life.
and definitely, and just a cool throwback to just kind of like some, stupid, funny horror.
Right. In
far as-
VR.
In VR.
VR.
So, by the way, we're just making fun of VR because everything is apparently in VR now, and we are as well, kind of.
Including
For
VR.
episode 100.
For episode 100, we're in VR. Anyway,
Special.
the trailer for Black
Panther.
came out, the new updated trailer.
So I don't know a whole lot about Black Panther. Is he an alien?
So
He
no.
he lives in the Congo,
no.
but he also flies spaceships.
Explain
No.
Black Panther in 30 words or less.
Black Panther is from the nation of Wakanda, which is a hidden nation in Africa that is super high tech.
That obviously doesn't give aid to the countries around
No,
it.
because it wants to remain a secret so that nobody exploits the technologies of Wakanda or the resources. Whose main resource is vibranium, which is the metal that dude Claw was in there, pirating when that weapons dealer
Gotcha.
in Avengers 2.
Yes.
The one that got his hand cut off. He was there,
how it all ties
to
together.
mine that. So the whole idea that they've been hidden like that is basically the thing about Wakanda. It's always been super high tech, super like futuristic, but they kept it all under wraps because it's in this pocket in Africa where nobody would even expect that to exist. So nobody's looking for it.
Here's
Is
my
there
question.
AIDS in Wakanda?
No.
They probably have the technology to get rid of it.
Exactly.
So I have one question about the whole Black Panther thing because I'm not familiar with the character, but does he have any superpowers besides the suit that he wears? Because it seems like he's almost like invincible when he has the suit on, but
No.
does he like have superpowers?
Yeah. Good.
He does? I always thought that he was like the
He's-
Africa's version of Batman.
He's more like Africa's version of Captain America.
Okay, makes sense.
Like where Captain America is not necessary. Well, in the movies, like and in I guess he's like superhuman, but he's literally supposed to be the peak athletic, ability of an average human. Like,
So he's LeBron James.
like if you take somebody and you amp them to the absolute utmost physical status that you could be as a human being, that
That's
would be
him.
Captain America. So that's the same thing with this dude, like who had to ingest this heart-shaped herb, which is a magic herb, and go through this like these trials to become the Black Panther. And he succeeds and actually gets the blessings of the Panther God and becomes the Black Panther. Now, whether or not there's actually a Panther God or it's just a hallucination from the magic herb, which may just be weed, I don't know. But I'll go with that, and it just works out.
I will say that seeing the trailer or this updated trailer was really cool. My favorite line in the trailer is just the dude at the beginning explaining. He's like, "I've seen this. I've seen aliens drop out of the sky," and then you actually get to see more of. Is it Wakanda?
Yeah.
And that's more or less what I'm interested in, is seeing like this civilization that has been untouched.
Can I also say that to cast Black Panther or to cast Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was the perfect person
Yeah.
to be cast as this, and I think he's an excellent actor.
Dude, British Airlines, right? Just a quick aside. British
What?
Airlines has a magazine, an in-flight magazine.
Sure.
And in that in-flight magazine, they were going over the most like successful and beautiful people in Hollywood, and Lupita Nyong'o, she's a woman that's playing in this movie. They were describing everybody, and they had her as one of them, as one of the most beautiful and successful people in Hollywood, and they literally said that she comes from Wakanda.
That's
yeah,
cool.
they did.
That's awesome.
They said that,
really
They
did.
said that she comes from Wakanda. Now, for those of you that don't know, Wakanda does not exist.
yeah. Yeah.
So she does not come from Wakanda. But this magazine thinks that she comes from Wakanda. I thought it was hilarious. I wanted to throw it
it's an
out there.
airline publication. It's a step below like
Proofread.
the
That's
sharper
all I have to
image.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wikipedia exists.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, that's hilarious. Anything in the trailer that you guys want to point out that really stuck out to you?
I'm just stoked that we're showing a different world that we haven't seen in movies before.
Yeah.
Like, how many Spider-Man movies have we had? How many Batman movies have we had? Like, we're not just stuck to, like, the skyscrapers of New York City or, like, Wayne Manor. We're seeing a whole different world, new characters. We're not seeing something that's, like, entirely whitewashed. We have, like, beautiful people of all different skin colors. Angela Bassett is in an action.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm so stoked on life.
Like I'm seeing Michael B. Jordan's character, Eric Killmonger, go in there and,
With the crazy hair. Like what?
literally looking like Odell Beckham. Like he could, and the fact that he's actually going to be this character called the Golden Jaguar, he's like a equal and opposite of the Black Panther. So that's going to be a really cool fight to see, where they're like basically like, got the same abilities, same powers, and they're going to be squaring off against each other at the end. That's going to be pretty awesome. And
Not to mention that it looks like he's like doubled the muscle he put on in Creed.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's like jacked. I was like, Jesus.
And I love the line where he says, where she tells him, "Don't freeze." He's like, "I don't freeze."
Yeah.
And
And then he just
like,
goes down the chute and
Yeah.
throws these 3 balls like directly on cars.
Yeah.
yeah, like
All right,
perfectly.
guy.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
I
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
I'm totally into this. I can't wait to see how it ties into everything else. Hopefully they kind of forego tying it in and just let it be its own thing for a little bit, and then maybe at the end give us like a stinger at the end of the movie like they usually do to tie it in. But like hopefully they don't go overboard trying to say, hey, this is Marvel, like they do with every movie, which is actually really cool, but it's also kind of like, hey, I want to see Black Panther.
Yeah.
Let's see Black Panther. I don't need Bucky to show up in this.
Nope.
But I have a feeling he's going to, but he might not. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
They always do those drop-ins.
Yeah.
So why would Bucky be the one to show up?
Because in the end of Civil War,
Yeah.
Oh.
They show the
they
whole,
bring him
yeah.
they bring him to Wakanda, and he's like being stored there
Yeah.
in stasis until they can figure out how to like cure him from the brainwashing. So
Right.
Maybe at the end of the movie
There's always
going to
be a tie-in.
Yeah,
There's going to be
credit
something,
scene.
a foreshadowing of the next movie.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about one more trailer, but before we close out with that, we have to do a quick discussion about Inhumans.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
When you and I were in New York for Comic-Con, we were in the hotel, and I had not yet had the time to watch Inhumans, and you were like, yo, do you want to watch the first episode? I fell asleep 20 minutes in. That was pretty much my clue as to how invested I was going to be in it. And you were like, hey, do you want to watch the second episode? I was like, no, I'm going to go to sleep, man.
Is it really the pile of manure that...
It's horrible,
so
man.
bad. There are 4 episodes out right now, and they are 42 minutes apiece. Can you understand how horrifying it is to sit through 42 minutes of straight garbage?
4 times?
Yeah, 4 times. I watched all 4. I mean, the casting is kind of weird. Like, the woman who plays Medusa is just the worst to me. I really dislike her. And I was like, how are we going to get rid of her hair? And Cooley was like, oh yeah, like they cut her hair off like 20 minutes in, because it was like, there's no way they're going to have a budget to animate her hair all the time. Like, her hair gets shaved and she gets saved immediately. Like, that scene didn't even need to be in there, but they just needed to find a way to just cut the budget for animating her hair. And like, oh my God, everything is terrible. Like, the acting is subpar. Ramsay Bolton is the anti-hero / bad guy because his policies are what should happen for the Inhumans. But
with that being said, though, he's
guy.
like the only guy that I feel like his acting is decent.
Who?
Yeah, Ramsay Bolton.
Bolton.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, because he's good, but I mean, like, you can't fix bad dialogue.
Yeah, no, he's the bad guy, but he's just trying to save people from being slaves in the mines because they don't have powers. Like, I mean, the whole point is that the royal family and like the people that actually have powers are like, oh, you didn't get powers from the Terrigen Mist. To the mines with you. It's just like, but that's supposed to be like the good guys that are doing that. Like, you're a slave.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It was hard to watch, man. Like, I literally was like,
bro, there's a scene where Medusa is on Earth and she's like standing in front of an ATM machine and she's going, I am Medusa, Queen of Atalon. Give me money. And I'm like, what?
Oh, that sounds terrible. Sit down and watch The Dark Tower.
Like, if you, like,
It
honestly,
just got
though,
on
like,
demand,
think about
so
this,
it's gotta
right?
be on
She's a
Redbox
grown
within
woman
30 days.
from Atalon.
Yep.
Lots of technology. You see something, you know that it's supposed to give you money. You understand that. If you understand that, you should be able to understand that there's something that you need to do to make it do that, and it's not talking to it.
It's terrible. Like Black Bolt, when he comes to Earth and they're taking pictures and he thinks it's a gun, and I'm like, you have a communicator, like you have a technical phone on you, though.
Yeah.
It's not that shape, but I think you can understand. Like, I was like,
So where they're from,
enthused.
they've never had cameras? Is that what you're supposed to assume?
Right.
Is that the camera was
Well, yeah,
never
because there's probably some
invented?
jackass with like giant eyes that take pictures of people like by blinking.
Well, they're still doing like 16th century Victorian paintings.
well, the one thing that I thought was a little dumb was, like I said, I don't give a shit enough about this show to know about anything about the characters or whatever. But
right.
Who's the dude with the huge dog?
The girl?
Yeah, cool.
Crystal.
Yeah.
She is Medusa's sister.
So who's the dog? With
the dog's name is Lockjaw.
Yeah, so Lockjaw looks so fucking dumb. It was like it walks in and it's like this huge animated bulldog, and I was like, that looks so bad. And you and I were talking about it. I was like, it would have looked better if they actually just got a real bulldog and enlarged him with CGI.
Yeah.
But it was clearly this fake CGI dog that looks so bad. And it's like, And it's one of these shows where it's like, what's the easiest way I can explain it? So you go into a theater and you watch a movie like The Avengers, and then you watch your friend's student film, and you can tell that it's a student film from the frame rate that the camera films at.
Well, like the Scooby-Doo dog, they could have just gotten a Great Dane and like just animated his face a little, and they were like, nah, whole dog.
Exactly.
Whole dog, no reason.
Exactly. But it's like the quality of this show looks like a high quality student film.
Yeah.
Like the frame rate is off. Like it doesn't look like it's professionally filmed.
Right.
It's like late 90s, early 2000s Canadian like drama TV.
The frame rate looks
so
like
weird.
Power Rangers.
Wow. Yeah.
Like that's what it looks like to me. It looks like I'm watching Power Rangers. You know what I
Not
mean?
great.
So it's awful.
Yeah.
Or VR Troopers.
VR. So I can tell you that back in the day, like probably about 2-3 years ago, there was a show called Superhero Squad.
Oh my God.
Cartoon based on like some like Fisher Price versions of the Marvel superheroes. That shit was better than Inhumans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's toys made after it, so I would say
better than Inhumans.
You know what's probably not better than Inhumans? The first season of Stephen King's The Mist on Spike TV.
That's better than Inhumans, I can tell you already.
Probably, yeah.
It's the most boring thing.
We'll watch an episode of Inhumans and then get back to us.
Yeah.
So
when I found you, I saw raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
it looks better and better with every trailer they release. So I don't know about you guys. What are your thoughts on this trailer overall?
I'm excited. I did laugh a little bit at the moment where you saw Chewbacca roar, and then there's that little thing that was like,
yeah, but I love that.
him.
I think that's hilarious.
The porgs.
Yeah, I just feel like it's the dynamic that they're including because, you know, Han Solo's gone.
It's like the Jar Jar Binks that we all wanted.
Yo, Disney is going to whore the shit out of porgs. That is all I saw in the gift shops
At Target,
Disney.
they're already there.
Like
Really?
everything was porg.
They're called pork, P-O-R-G?
Yeah, P-O-R-G. And the baby porgs are porglets.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and like
Like
there
pigs.
are keychains and stuffies and
It's going to be the new Baby Groot.
and bubble blowers
Yeah.
and like everything is porg, dude. Everything.
Yeah, but Disney's super smart, man. They
Yeah,
know
of
that's a
course.
cute
You gotta
character.
put a cute animal
so
in there.
they
Of
know
course.
that all the kids are gonna want one.
The
I mean,
Japanese theme park is gonna sell so many of those. things.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh
Do you
my
remember
God.
Tamagotchis?
Oh yeah.
But dude, what do we think about this trailer though? I mean, do we feel like this trailer is a lot of misdirection, or do we feel like this trailer is giving us some straight facts about what to expect?
I feel like it's just, I don't know, man. I've watched it several times.
Like, do you really think that Rey is going to try and seek, some tutelage from Kylo Ren?
In my opinion, I think that she is.
I think so. And I think later she might be like, haha, backstab. But I think there's a piece of her that needs to relate to someone with that level of power and that loneliness because she's been alone her whole life. I think she's going to find some kind of kinship in her. Like, I'm really goofed up. I'm losing everybody that I'm making friends with. I'm going to have that kinship to you, even though you killed my good friend who was your father. I think that she's going to be like, help me. And then later on be like, no, just kidding, because my love of Finn is going to fix
Well,
everything.
see, that's what I thought, but I the same thing. Like, I think that she's going to seek out Kylo Ren and get what she can from him, and then use that, as a weapon of her own in the future. Like, that's what I think. I mean, like, why would you not do that? Like, I get you want to be all good Jedi, and she's probably going to learn what she can from Luke Skywalker, but like, I feel like there's going to be that moment of weakness where Kylo Ren's going to convince her You know, there's always that lure of the dark side.
You want the best
you know?
of both worlds.
So
Sometimes
I
it's
feel
fun
like,
to be bad.
So I feel like she's still in kind of like that sponge phase where she's trying to learn everything she can, and I feel like she's gonna see some, you know, the grass is greener on the other side with the dark side, some of the stuff that they're able to do, and I feel like she's gonna be very powerful when she can wield what she's learned from both sides. You know what I mean?
I think that Luke is going to be able to teach her both sides of the Force, because I don't think Luke is just what he appears to be, because there's a scene where he's like reaching for this book that has this symbol on it, and that symbol is the symbol of the wills, which is a if we're gonna go like, you know, religion based, it's a non-denominational Force, you know, like Force followers or whatever. Like they don't necessarily believe in a dark side or a light side. They just believe in the Force as a whole. So I think that Luke having that book or having that symbol around him like means that he's done some studying and he knows what it is to be like a gray Jedi or a gray Force wielder, where you have the best of both worlds. So I think he's going to be able to teach her that. I don't think that what they show us in the trailer is like legitimately happening in the sequence that they're showing it, because I think I like studying the trailer, I saw that the background, the lighting, so on and so forth for her in that scene where she's like, you know, reaching her hand out or like, you know, asking for assistance, and the scene where they show Kylo Ren hold his hand out to like, you know, offer his assistance, the lighting and the surroundings are different. So if it does happen, like I can't say either way, obviously, because none of us really know, but if it does happen where she is like kind of turning to the dark side, even if it's just for information, it's not in the way that they're showing us in the trailer. So I do think there is definitely some misdirection there for sure.
In this trailer, are they preparing us that Kylo Ren kills Princess Leia?
Yes.
I mean, the inference is so obvious.
Yes, I mean, like the way that he swallows with you know this like nervous trepidation before he squeezes the trigger.
Oh yeah,
he's definitely attempting to kill her.
Just kills his family.
Yeah,
he's like the Menendez brothers.
It's his. It is the like for in his mind, based on his teachings from Lord Snoke or Supreme Leader Snoke. It is the only way for him to actually make his progression to be like the ultimate, like, you know, Knight of Ren.
All right.
So,
but it's
Knight
like,
of Ren.
Nice, do it.
But it's like the wimpiest way to do it, because it's like, oh, I killed my parents. It's not like, oh, I'm an orphan, I'm just gonna be bad. It's like, no, I had to kill him.
I don't feel like that's very wimpy, though.
No, but I have this feeling that it's like this. I have this feeling
that really F's you up.
I have this feeling that he doesn't want to kill his parents, but the fact that he kills his parents and forces himself to do it creates this inner rage and anger that he can draw from, because he's like so angry with himself.
True.
Like, so it's like this built-in battery for dark side power, right? So I think that's the whole like philosophy behind it, because he obviously like. I don't think even watching The Force Awakens for the 5th time, 6th time, 12th time, I don't think that he really wanted to kill Han.
No, there was like a serious like sadness in his eyes.
And that same sadness is present in the trailer when it looks like he's about to kill his mother.
I think
they cut that the way that they want you. So we don't know if that's in reference to what you see.
No, exactly. And it's the same point that I made about the end.
Yeah, they make you see what they want you to see. So
but if he just kills a bunch of porgs?
But that sadness in his eyes, I mean, I think that he internalizes that, generates anger from it, and it becomes a battery for his power. So I think that's the whole point of him killing his parents or his family and severing those ties. And that's just my theory, but yeah, the trailer overall was absolutely amazing. I'm pumped, stoked, watched it a friggin' 1,000 times, analyzed the shit out of it, watched other people's theories, thought they were bullshit because mines are always right. And that's
what's the you know, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. What is the symbolism behind the end of the trailer where the lightsaber is like in the spot which looks like it was like cut out in the stone? Like, do we know like what that's supposed to symbolize?
Oh, I mean, it's just. I think it's just the symbolism of like, you know, just being the chosen. You know, the one that is actually finally going to bring balance to the Force.
But it almost looks like that's where like a lightsaber hit before, and she ended in the same spot. So I'm wondering like, and stopped perfectly.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
So I'm like, is that supposed to be like where other Jedis have trained, and she has more control because she got it right where? I mean, that's still. I mean, it just looks like it's cut out perfectly.
We'll find out.
So that's what I took from that. Like, it's just a very
because when she does that, that's actually like in the first like couple of like seconds of the trailer.
Yeah.
That when she does that, that's exactly where Luke is saying like how, you know, her power is scaring him. So that is I think it's literally exactly what you're saying. But it's a call out to her being like more powerful than anybody else, and she's the chosen one.
I don't mean to go on a tangent, but I need to state this. By watching The Force Awakens and Rogue One, and now watching the trailer for the Last Jedi, it is unbelievably glaring how terrible the acting was in the episodes 1 through 3 trilogy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah, it really
how
is.
terrible it really was.
Yeah.
Agreed. 100%.
That's why Hayden Christensen doesn't do anything anymore. No
I hardly
offense.
count them as actual
he married
movies.
Rachel Bilson.
When I was
in the trilogy,
the only
in
thing
the
he's doing
series.
now.
I saw those movies when they first came out, like
me too.
midnight showings.
Yep.
I stood in line months prior with a bunch of people that dressed up in cosplay. And like waiting in line to just get tickets so that I'd show up at these events. And I was younger then, and I was like, oh, cool, Star Wars. But now watching this stuff now, it is dreadful.
Yes.
It is really,
There
really
are
horrible.
Very few key moments in these movies that are actually like informative, well done, and seem like they should be in a movie. And the rest of it is just garbage. On that note, look up the Phantom Edit. I don't know if I've told you about this before, but it's literally all 3 movies condensed into one movie where they cut out all the crap and only the important only the important stuff is in there, and it really flows a lot better. You cannot fix the acting at all. So even that 2 hours is kind of brutal to watch the acting, but at least the movie and the information and the story and those elements are actually really cool. Like you get the whole progression of Anakin to Vader, which is what that trilogy is about.
Yeah.
And
That was
all the
supposed
other
to be
stuff,
the original
all the other
point.
ancillary stuff can just suck a bag of
Things.
and that is where I stand on that. But like, I mean, give me that story of Anakin to Vader, and that's it. And that was really pretty cool.
Yeah, of course.
It starts with the Darth Maul fight from episode 1, so everything else up to the Darth Maul fight gone.
It's just cut out.
Yeah.
It's just obvious that these new movies, there's a whole lot more passion. That there are people that are working on these movies that are obvious fans of Star Wars.
But isn't it funny that the person that
justice.
worked on the trilogy was the creator?
Oh no,
Yeah,
I'm
that
well
is
aware.
Lucas. And like it seems like he didn't give anywhere near the amount of F's that the new crews actually care.
Yeah, I think that maybe he was just too close to it.
But there was that's another thing that I saw
That
at
he
Disney
just
too.
he
was,
just thought that, hey, it's Star Wars, people are gonna like it regardless. And I think he rested on his laurels and assumed no matter what, it's gonna be enjoyable.
at Disney there was like a 10-minute documentary of just like all the people that are actually working on Star Wars now, which was really cool. And like they actually like we're talking like literally like people that like grew up watching Star Wars, right, are now the people that are working on it. Like none of the people that are working on it are like, you know, non-fans. Everybody is like passionately like invested. So like you're absolutely right.
And that's the best thing of having something that's been around for that long, is now people have grown up with this and feel passionately about it.
Exactly.
It's like Mortal Kombat. Me and Tony are fans of Mortal Kombat.
Hell yeah.
And you play Mortal Kombat X, which was the latest release. It was a couple of years ago.
In
But
VR.
in VR.
VR.
But you can tell how passionately people felt about it, and it's obvious in the end result, and it's showing that in these movies.
Yeah, man. So let's kick it into hyperspace, bro. We're going to get out of here, right?
Hell yeah.
Look, next week we have a lot more stuff to talk about because it's been 2 freaking weeks, bro.
Hell yeah.
If we could keep going, we would.
And next week is actually going to be the week right before Halloween. So it would be cool, as we do every year, we'll probably throw in some Halloween stuff, some paranormal stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, maybe tell a couple ghost stories.
Some ghost stories.
Oh, man. Well, with that being said, that is it for this week on the RedBeard Podcast, and that's all we got. Later. VR. Thanks for listening to this episode of the RedBeard Podcast. And remember, please make sure to like us on our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes to make sure you get all of our latest videos and episodes. And you can always find us and comment on anything we've talked about or what you'd like to hear at redbeardpodcast.com.